power of the Buff Dude tank. www.buffdude.us. Grab your tank now and be a Buff Dude. Back in the Buff Dude's gym, early in the morning. Feels like it's early in the morning at least. It is somewhat, not that early. Not like the old days where we're up at like 4:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. now. Really gotta warm up. Gotta wake up. I'm just doing some pass-throughs, kind of stretching the shoulders out. Probably do some wall slides, stuff like that. But we're gonna be doing some chest and triceps. It's funny, whenever you get in the gym, you're just like, oh man, I don't know if I feel like being in here. And you start kind of like lifting some weights, you're kind of maybe stiff or tired or whatnot. But then maybe 10, 20, 30 minutes into the workout, when you start lifting heavier weight and you start sweating a little bit and the blood starts flowing, then you feel fucking good. Then you get that pump, you ready to go, you feel buff, let's do it!
You gotta warm up. It's not the most exciting thing. It's never as fun as maybe, let's say, doing bench press, deadlifts, but it complements the workout and it makes sure that you can do workouts for years and years to come. Because if you're a teen, you're in your early 20s, you know, you're well lubricated. God, I hope I'm not put on a list for saying that. When you get older, you get a little bit more stiff. I mean, this just isn't even working out.
Yeah. Well, that was it. Warming up still, you know, feeling the positioning of the bar, and the placement of the bench and stuff. So as you can see, we got our power rack here and put the bench in and got the setup and the height and everything. And so I'll usually, you know, you can do it with the bar, maybe just put like a 45 or a light amount of weight on and you can warm up, do a warm up set or two, and you get kind of comfortable with that movement. And then kind of slowly build up in weight and get to your weight. If you know your weight, you can obviously, once you're warmed up enough, you can kind of jump to that weight and you know the rep range you're kind of working in. But you can always pyramid up slowly into a rep range that you want to stick with and the amount of weight you want to stick with too. So we'll probably be pyramiding up today and just kind of feel it out, see what feels good.
In basically any workout we do, we always have kind of a feel out set. I mean, this is really light, this is just a bar, but it's a good way to gauge where you're feeling that day because like Brandon said in the prior workout video, the one where we're hitting back and biceps, your strength levels can vary. You're not always we're not machines. So you're not always gonna hit those exact same levels every single time. Maybe you didn't get as much sleep, maybe you're a little stressed, maybe whatever. So by doing these warm-up sets, it's a good way to kind of tell where you're at because you don't wanna jump right into, you know, a heavier weight or maybe a weight that you were doing last week or whatever, thinking, hey, I did it then, I'll just do it now as well, because that can lead to injury and that's not cool. So we'll start with the lighter stuff and then work up to the big boys. Yeah. Not the most weight in the world, but it's getting pretty heavy for me. I have not been lifting that heavy for quite some time. That's definitely the goal though, to keep building up. So I feel good with this. Eventually love to get to 315 comfortably. I've always wanted to hit that 405, never have. Whole weightlifting journey, it's definitely a big goal. So hopefully, let's say by next year, that's gonna be my 2020 goals. 405, yeah, but I feel good. Yeah.
Ultimate stabilization going on. As you can see, we have the kettlebells strung up by with just some bands here on each side, and it's not very heavy, but as soon as you unrack it, it's gonna feel very, very unstable, really wobbly, and you're gonna really have to kind of keep everything super tight and stable to make sure you can control that bar. And that's one of the good things about doing something like this, is it really gets you better and stronger at bar control and makes a more strong and stable lift. So once you go back to the normal weight, let's say a standard barbell incline press like this, you feel a hell of a lot more stable in that positioning and press because you've trained all those muscles to make sure they can stabilize that weight. You'll see a lot of times people will start out with like a bench press and maybe in their teens, I know I was the same way, you get that bar, you're shaky, your feet are flinging everywhere because you just don't know how to control it. Your central nervous system is just firing and not knowing what the hell it's doing. So doing something like this, where you're not really focused on the weight, but more about that stabilization and control, can really improve your pressing and lifts in the future. So that's why we're just implementing this in. Just kind of good, and we've done it in the past, and we just kind of wanted to show you guys again something that's available for you if you need some help in that bar control and stabilization. And it just feels good to kind of switch things up. It's not necessarily about weight, it's more just about controlling the bar, and you still feel a hell of a lot of activation there, which is what we want.
I almost feel like you're in a Jackie Chan movie or something, and you're doing the test where you gotta take the bar with the 2 water pails on each side, you know? All I'm missing is that master that's super, super harsh on me, punching me in the face the whole time I'm doing the bar. I'm glad Brandon doesn't do that.
Did flat bench, just got done with incline. Now we're on for a little bit of the kind of lower chest activation with some dips. And we got the big ass chain here, got the buff links. We're gonna be doing some dips with it, so I'm gonna see how this feels. There we go, load up. Oh yeah. Been a little overhead press, get this fucker off. Damn. Oh, that felt heavy. Felt good though. You see the chains placed on the neck, so kind of force you to kind of, it's gonna pull you forward. So it's actually gonna activate your chest a bit more because it's forcing you to be in more of that bent over position. So then you're pressing with the chest rather than more of the vertical. You get more of the triceps involved there. So that's why you see a lot of people use the chain, because it's pretty beneficial to get you in that proper position to really activate that chest. Moving on to the isolations, incline fly. So you can tell I'm not going too heavy because it being isolation, you're only utilizing that shoulder joint. You don't want to go too heavy because that's a lot of pressure and stress that can be placed on the shoulder joint. And you just don't want any injuries to happen. So you gotta just, you know, be careful with a movement like this. That's why you take it light, really focus on that nice slow and methodical movement. Get that full stretch, bring it up. You don't have to come all the way up, kind of keep the tension on there and really just feel that chest working. Kind of adducting into that center line of the body. That nice kind of full contraction, that chest feels good. And oh yeah, I think my chest can be pretty damn sore tomorrow. It's already feeling sore, so that's a good and bad side. You don't want to get too sore, you don't want to overwork, but you do want to push yourself enough where you are utilizing, you know, that adaptation process where the body needs to adapt because you're putting all the stress on it. Feed it the right nutrition, make sure you rest enough, and boom, buff dude in no time, baby. Yeah. Starting a little bit light with skull crushers.
With a name like Skull Crushers, you know they mean business. And the name is no lie too, because as you can see as the exercise is performed, caution is advised. So we're starting a little lighter, filling it out, move up. This is definitely a staple of the buff dudes workout routine. We've been doing Skull Crushers for years, partly due to the fact that they build great tricep size, but also, come on, the name sounds badass. Chain, Skull Crushers. It's like a lot of things in the gym kind of sound like a metal band. And that's cool with us, yeah.
Done with skull crushers, we survived, our skulls are intact, and now we're gonna be doing some standing single arm French press. Pretty simple as you can see, taking the dumbbell right behind your head, and really just working on that stretch position. You really wanna bring it down as far as you can. So if you go too heavy, you're not gonna feel like you can get that full range of motion. You wanna go light enough where you can kind of feel that nice stretch, and then extend up, but you don't have to completely go all the way to the top position and lock out. And you can tell my elbow's flaring out a little bit, and that's okay if it does that a little bit, but you wanna be careful to not start to turning into a pressing motion. You really do wanna just focus on an extension of the elbow joint there, and that is gonna get that full benefit and isolate the tricep to the maximum buffness. Oh yeah, gonna finish off, since it is a unilateral exercise, do a couple more repetitions, few more on my less dominant side, my left side. And there you go, single arm, dumbbell, standing French press. It works pretty good, let me tell you. Feel that burn.
DIY kind of runs in the family. As you can see, this is Brandon's DIY project right here. Great alternative to the tricep rope extensions. Got a band, coming in handy again. Nice thing about a power rack, you can hook up all kinds of stuff to it. It's the machine of many exercises. And we're getting a pretty decent tricep pump here too. Don't have a cable machine yet in the gym, but one is on the way. We were kind of struggling because we were thinking, this is a nice size facility for us, but it's not really big. Obviously, it's nowhere even near the size of a commercial gym, so you couldn't really fit a big cable machine. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is get one that just attaches to the wall. We're pretty excited. It's gonna be coming soon. It's like gonna be a buff dude's Christmas present. Oh yeah, nice pump. DIY Duke, you got some competition. Your son's coming up. I'm gonna dethrone your ass. Hope you enjoyed the workout. See you next time. Stay low. Bye, Tank Top.